Hello, my name is Catherine Baldwin, a relationships coach, a midlife mentor, and the author of this book, How to Fall in Love, a 10-Step Journey to the Heart. And you're about to hear from Joyce, one of my lovely coaching clients. Joyce did one-to-one coaching with me, and she also took both of my online courses, How to Fall in Love, Laying the Foundations, and Date with Courage, Clarity and Confidence. Over to you, Joyce.
Everything, actually. I've had such a journey over the couple of years that I've been working with you through the 2 courses. I've done the Laying Foundations course, and I've done the Dating with Courage, Clarity and Confidence course, as well as doing one-to-one coaching with you. And I mean, it has been truly transformational for me as an individual. I've gone from working overseas, working excessive hours all the time, just being completely dedicated to my work, to now just recently moving back. In the last 6 weeks, I've moved back to Edinburgh to start my new life here. And the work that I've done with you has absolutely, supported and helped me to go through that huge journey. So yeah, it's been amazing. And I think this is one of the things that you've really genuinely supported and helped me to see, is to actually have that awareness of what's going on, to think about what is good for me, to think about not just what I don't want to do, but to actually actively think about what I do want to do and what would actually be good for me as a person, and for me to have a life that's not just immersed in working. My work had been everything to me, and until very recently, because this is very recent change that I've made. It's very recently that I've made the final step. I didn't give myself space for me, for my certainly not for my romantic life. That's been on the back burner for a very, very long time now. My own kind of well-being has not been particularly at the forefront of my mind. And just having time for myself, it's just not been one of my priorities, and it's made me realize that life needed to change. And I have been able to be very supported with you through the course and through the way that you've done the work with me. I think the small group work with the ladies that I've been on the journey on has also been incredibly fulfilling. And the coursework that you've done, I found it really interesting how it's just opened things up for me, and it's just enabled me to understand so much more about myself, so much more about my journey, so much more about my background, and understanding very much about where my patterns and behaviours have come from, and then getting the help from working with you to understand what I need to do to change it and to do things differently in the future. But I'm really excited about my new life, and I do see it very much as a new life. I'm excited about starting on my dating journey. I decided to take the Foundations course because I was in a space where I didn't really understand why, I wasn't able to sort of really understand what was going on with me and the way that I was, my behaviours, my patterns. Huge learning about myself, huge learning about my behaviours and patterns and where they had come from. And I genuinely believe that without that awareness of what your patterns are and what your history is, that it's really hard to actually kind of do things in a way that's good for you necessarily. I had patterns that weren't particularly healthy for me in one way and another. I had patterns in my relationships, and I didn't know why I was doing it. And the work that I did with you in the course, it really helped me to see the patterns that I had, the behaviours that I had. And having that awareness, it means that I now can potentially stop myself when I see myself going down that road. Or I've done the sort of Foundations work to stop me actually going down that road in the first place, which is incredibly transformational for me, because I was just repeating the same behaviours and the same patterns with my relationships, and now I'm very much more aware of them, and making different choices. The other big thing in the course was the whole self-esteem, and changing my self-esteem for sure. I think I also had a lack of awareness on what that was all about. I knew, I'd heard the terminology and I'd done some reading around it, but I didn't really think about what that meant for me as an individual. And I think that so many of the questions that come up at the end of your videos for each section of the module, it's like they're so insightful. It really helped me to understand my self-esteem issues, and it really helped me to understand that sense of self and why it's so fundamentally important. And I think, the stuff around self-care and actually, looking after yourself and giving yourself time for, positive kind of routines for yourself, it's changed my perspective hugely. And I think that, people see that in me now, and people comment on the changes, which is really nice. I am so glad that I did that course. I'm so glad I did it. I think it was absolutely the right time for me to do it. I see huge benefits of doing the course after the Laying the Foundations course. I see huge benefits of not necessarily having a big break between doing the two courses. I can see how they really kind of benefit from just following on from each other. I really enjoyed the facilitated group calls that we did. I really enjoyed the exercises. Again, the format of these introductory videos, hearing about your experiences, I really enjoyed that, and it helped me to kind of then focus in on the aspects of my life that might be sort of, reflective of the issue that you talked about in the video. I find the questions at the end, again, I found them really helpful to think through my stuff. And I was writing a lot about the dating patterns and behaviours, and trying to really kind of think about how I would do things differently. Things like, thinking about throwing away your list, and, following your old kind of patterns of behaviour, and bringing that into your relationships and what that means for you. There was just so much that I learned from that, because I've not really done dating. And so it's been hugely, hugely, hugely helpful for me to be able to go into dating with a confidence, for me to look for what's something that's good for me, and that's going to be positive for me, rather than me feeling that I just have to, follow whatever is out there, and that I'm not worthy of having something better than just whatever it is, and actually having the confidence to look for what it is that I would like to get out of a relationship. I do actually believe that I do have more courage to be more attuned to what's good for me, and to be a bit more brave and put myself out there a bit more. And I think, you talk about not just giving up on things if it's not 100% maybe on the first date, and giving it, a bit of time, because sometimes, things grow and change, and I'm one of these people that has the potential to just kind of run if it's not 100%. And so having that also is kind of a good piece of advice, I think. And I think that, courage is a strange word for me if I think about, relationships, but actually it has given me more courage to do things differently. But I think the other thing is, it's given me the courage to be able to stand up for myself and say, actually, no, this isn't right. I don't want to do this. You're not the right person for me. I'm looking for something different, something better. And so I think it's going to help me be more courageous in my decisions around dating. And I no longer feel guilty about doing something that's good for me. And that's a huge shift for me as an individual. So it's been massive, that change for me. I would definitely recommend the courses that you're delivering, Catherine. I recommend the Laying the Foundations course, because I think that there's just so many fundamentals in there that actually help and that raise awareness that you didn't even know that you didn't know. Professional women who potentially haven't prioritised their romantic life, potentially haven't prioritised themselves. I had been in a long-term relationship, have been out of it for a long time, have focused on my work, don't have children, and kind of have just forgotten about myself. And I think that doing the courses with you, it's just brought me back into focus, which I think is hugely important. And it's something that as women it's easy for us to lose ourselves, I think. And I think that the Dating with Courage, Clarity and Confidence course, although obviously the focus is on dating, what I found really interesting was it wasn't 100% just all about dating. So even if you weren't actively dating, so in our group we had some who were absolutely actively dating, taking the learning every week and coming up with their experiences. There were some of us who hadn't done any dating in a long time, and we were building up our kind of confidence and trying to and learning from each other, learning from you and learning from the course materials, to help us to kind of get ourselves out there. And a lot of us have already had a date before the end of the course, some of us haven't, but that was all okay. It was great for us to be at these different stages, and to be all learning from each other. And I think learning from your experience, and what I found really interesting in the course was how people had some very set ideas on things, and listening to you and your experiences, listening to you on your videos, answering the questions that you were getting us to think about, it was changing our perspective hugely on things. And I think all of us were surprised at that, how we were all getting different perspectives on things and maybe changing our kind of like mindset. So that was hugely interesting for me. And I think all women, we've had younger women, older women, middle, across the age range, spectrum we've had on the course. And I think that all of us have benefited in different ways. And I think all of us have benefited no matter where we are on our dating journey. So I would recommend it to a wide spectrum. The one-to-one coaching that I did was done sort of between doing the courses, and it was so hugely powerful for me. It's helped me to understand about some fundamental deep-seated issues that I have from my history and childhood, and it has put me onto a journey that has made such a transformation for me in my life. I actually get quite emotional when I think about it, how much it's actually helped me and what it's introduced me to through you encouraging and helping me to kind of see where I needed to go in my journey. 100% worthwhile for me. I think that in terms of the financial cost, I think it's incredibly good value for money. I think the time that we get with you, Catherine, when you're kind of going through the course with us and having the facilitated calls that we had with you, that was incredibly useful, and I really enjoyed those facilitated calls. But I think that what we get out of the work that you've put into the questions and the content that you deliver is it's huge. And I think that I've spent money on therapy and counsellors a lot, and I actually think it's amazing value for money. And I think that, my experience has been that, given the huge life changes that I've had because of the work that I've done with you, absolutely worth every penny.
Thank you, Joyce, for sharing your story with us. If you'd like my support to find healthy love or to build a fulfilling life, please get in touch. Go to katherinebaldwin.com.